But let's look at another team that's changed almost like unrecognisably, I would say, in the last couple of months since the season finished, and that's Tottenham. So they're now led obviously by Ange Postecoglou, and the number 10 shirt belongs to James Maddison and not Harry Kane. These are strange times, Dave, for Tottenham, aren't they? But they drew 2-2 with Brentford. It's a good performance, wasn't it, from both teams, really? Brentford, obviously, without Ivan Toney as well. But Tottenham look a good prospect, don't they? They look refreshed almost.
Definitely. I mean, it was actually a breath of fresh air to see how they were playing. Obviously, they approached the game with more intensity, which I'm sure Tottenham fans are definitely not used to seeing that. Obviously, if you look at the managers they've had over the last few years, it's been a lot more conservative, a lot more safe football, kind of obviously maintaining a structure and being very organised, but not being very adventurous. But they move the ball quickly. I thought there was a couple of really encouraging performances, particularly Maddison. You know, his set piece delivery is ridiculously good. I thought Emerson Royal had a really strong game as well. I think he's actually proving a lot of people wrong, actually, to be honest.
Basuma as well.
A brilliant strike, to be honest, for the second goal. But I think the way that they were moving the ball, and obviously they actually looked a lot more organised for me than they usually do. It was a big loss for when they lost Romero. I think he is the main man for them in the centre-back positions, and I think obviously he's fine. But I feel like it was a good point for them. Obviously, you know, it's not an easy first game. Obviously, Brentford. We know more. Both,
I was going to say, you're only saying that after last year, aren't you?
But
that's why you've not grilled me about Villa losing by so many, isn't it? You remember what it's like.
So.
I do feel like the only thing for me is Son looks like a shadow of the player he has.
He didn't look good again.
And I was really surprised to find out he's actually 31 now.
Surprising nonetheless, because you do assume he's still in his like mid to late 20s, don't you? Probably because he looks so young. But he's got the armband now anyway. Maybe that's weighing heavily on him. I don't know.
I think you've got
to wonder me.
You've got to wonder where the goals are going to come from. That's the main thing for me.
Absolutely, yeah.
Is what's going to be a consistent source of goals. Richarlison, last season, what was it? One or two goals.
He's Brazil's number 9, though, Dave. That's the thing. Yeah. It's the Brazil number 9. He should be doing so much better. And I don't know what it is about him, but his body language is so relaxed. And
Kulusevski looks like a shadow of the player that he was when he first came in for those first few months. He got injured and he's not been the same since he's come back.
They all will for a while in the attacking positions while they learn how to work a new system without Harry Kane. There is no player in world football that would have a bigger impact on their team being taken out. Realistically, like you take Haaland out of Man City find another way to play really quickly. You take Salah out of Liverpool, they've got players now that could replace it. Kane from Spurs changes everything. So Son, who famously his whole game for Spurs really was based around his relationship with Harry Kane, is now going to have to learn how to play with Richarlison, who's a completely different profile of number 9. Not to say that he's not good enough to play that role. It's a very different kind of player to Harry Kane, isn't it? So that's going to affect the entire forward line. And I think Ange will know that that's going to take some time to build. I wondered whether they'd go back in for another striker or not, or whether they just trust Richarlison now. They spent big money on Richarlison, and Mike's right. He's proved for Brazil he can score goals. So I don't know, maybe with James Maddison providing for him, giving him a season as the number 9, because he didn't have that last year. Is he better?
I think you mentioned Evan Ferguson earlier. I think he's tailor-made for Tottenham. I think he's
almost
a direct Kane replacement. It'd be fantastic. But again, what price is he going to command in 12 months' time?
That's why they got to do it now.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, but I'm not sure Brighton would let him go this summer when they've let so much talent go. That's the thing. But he'd be perfect for them. He really would. But speaking of changes with Spurs, I've got to kind of sympathise really with Postecoglou, because this whole saga of the Kane transfer to Bayern has been... he's seen it coming. I'm guessing he's prepared mentally for it. He's kind of already planned what kind of team he's going to play in structure with him not being there. But it's not a great start to his life at Tottenham, is it, Dave? He's a really good coach. And I think the way he deals with the media fills you with confidence as a fan as well. You can hear him keeping them under control. He almost puts them in their place when he asks questions that are completely out of line. So he's so well-spoken. He must give that confidence to the team as well. But this start to the season, the situation that he's been thrown into, it's difficult for him, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. It's not an ideal situation coming in, and I think he said that he came in on day one and Harry Kane basically told him that he wants to leave. So at least, I mean, you kind of know where you're at then. At least he knows, what he's got to deal with. Planning forward, like you mentioned, I suppose he's got an idea of what he wants, and I can imagine for me, it'd be crazy if they don't bring another striker in. I'll be very surprised if they don't. And I think you took the words out of my mouth, Matt. I think Evan Ferguson would be the perfect player. But you can actually see from the players' demeanours in this particular game, they looked like they enjoyed the game. They were playing with plenty of energy.
True.
I thought Yves Bissouma had the best game he's had in a Tottenham shirt. I thought he was really, really positive and looks like more of the player that we saw at Brighton. Because last year he just didn't look there. But yeah, it's obviously a big question mark over what they're going to do about bringing somebody in. Obviously, Harry Kane, like Miles says, how do you replace it?